everyone. Welcome to everyone that's currently joining us. We're going to start shortly in a couple of minutes as we wait for more people to join us. But feel free in the meantime to drop in the chat your names, organizations, where you're dialing in from, so we get an idea of who's with us today. And we'll also be streaming this event live on Facebook and through our UNDP Europe and Central Asia channel. So feel free to share it as we start.
Right on. So I assume they can all hear me too, right?
That's correct.
Yes. So Malaysia represent. Right on. What else? What else? Tell me, where are you connecting from? Muy bien, gracias. Oh, Turkey represent. Good, Istanbul. Good, Czech Republic. Hablo español. Yo también. Oh, Kazakhstan, right on. Good. Poland. Yay. This is so good. Carolina and Bianc from Poland. Right on. I'm connecting from Madrid, although I'm not Spanish. I know I can speak Spanish though. And Svetla, you tell me when when we want us to start. If you give a couple of more minutes. Hey, North Macedonia, right on.
Yeah, just a couple of more minutes as I'm posting this.
Sure. We're gonna also activate Facebook. This is gonna be, I think this is also to protect your images. So it is a webinar. So you won't be showing, you won't have any trouble with the usage of your images. Borja, welcome. Where are you connecting from, Borja? Madrid. Hey, neighbors. Right on. So we have North Macedonia, Czech Republic, Poland, Malaysia, Kazakhstan, Turkey. I love that. One of the things that I do is I teach here in Spain, and as an international MBA. So it's not uncommon to have 400 students from 80 countries.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Well, I think we're ready to start. So welcome to everyone that's with us here today. And everyone that's, of course, watching us live now on Facebook. I'm Svetla Baeva. I'm the comms lead with the innovation team at UNDP Europe and Central Asia. This is our 5th edition of Boost Talks, which is a webinar series. And it's spinned off part of our Boost initiative. It's a UNDP initiative that we launched last year in response to the pandemic. And essentially, it's a platform for hosting of various different kinds of challenges, development challenges, which seek to source solutions from civil society organizations, businesses, startups, research institutes all across the Europe and Central Asia region. And in addition to that, we have an intensive online training and mentorship program that goes along with Boost to help build and expand these solutions so that it can really have an impact in our region. So Boost has, of course, been made possible thanks to our partners at Startup Grind, which is the world's largest community of startups, founders, innovators, and we loved having them with us. But we also have a couple of other partners like Koch Holding and the Slovak Ministry of Finance and the Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who've also really supported the launching of numerous challenges on Boost. So we're happy to have with us today here Alberto Levy. He's the director at the Founder Institute Madrid, an international MBA professor, a startup mentor at IE Business School, and he's also been considered a innovation evangelist. Really quite interesting. We're interested to learn more about that. And in today's session with Alberto, he will explain how combining art and technology could open up a whole new set of skills and perspectives to tackling and solving and addressing global issues. And so without further ado, I don't want to take too much time right now. I'd like to give the word to Alberto. And in the meantime, feel free to, as we go along and as he presents, feel free to drop questions in our Q&A box or in the chat box. As we go along, we'll have some time at the end to answer each of them. So thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. And I have the classic question at the beginning. Can you see my screen? All full
Yes.
screen, all good. So yes, thank you. Really exciting. I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and I really admire the project. I've been following the project for a couple of years, and I'm so proud of what we've been doing as an organization, and also everyone that gets involved with the project. We cannot wait more to change the world. We cannot wait for other people to do that for us. So when you get together, we're able to have a meaningful impact in the world. So the topic today of this fifth webinar is art and technology. If you combine them, it's equals to innovation. And this is an equation for real impact. And this is our topic of today. So I want to start, and I'm going to make sure that we are going to have audio. I'm going to start with a video. So let's watch this video, please.
Go beyond accessory. Express uniqueness. Swallowable perfume. A new cycle of evolution.
So, swallowable perfume. Have you heard about this? Hey, when I ask questions, sometimes it's rhetorical, sometimes it's not, but you can use the chat box to answer. So let's not do rhetorical. Have you heard about this before? So write it down in the chat box. Have you heard about this? So no, I think none of you, the answers I'm getting is no. And so the second question wouldn't even make sense, is have you used this before? We never heard about this before. We never used this before. And this sounds intriguing, right? And what came to my mind when I saw this for the first time was a question. And the question was, why not? Why not have a swallowable perfume? Do you know how this works? So you're ready to go to, I don't know, to the nightclub. So instead of spraying yourself with a perfume, you just get a pill and you take the pill, and then when you sweat, hopefully it's going to be a good scent coming out of your pores. And so there's a biochemical changes, and then, hey, why not? I mean, we have different odors when we sweat. Why not having a swallowable perfume? But what's even more intriguing is that the person who did this, I mean, it was not even like a big organization like L'Oreal, Givenchy, Chanel. It was not a perfume company that we might have heard of. It was a biohacker. But don't you think that L'Oreal has more than 100 years of success? Wouldn't you think that L'Oreal would have the means to do something like this? The resources, the money, the talent? And I would say yes. I know some people from L'Oreal, they're really talented and they have the resources, but they never did this. Why? Because sometimes it's really hard to see outside of our box, and we see that you're truly innovative. I'm not saying that you're not, but sometimes we need to be even disruptive and think about something that might totally transform the industry we're in. So this would be use the body as atomizer and not the atomizer that we find in stores. So I want to go back in time and start to talk about technology and art in different perspectives. The first perspective, if you allow me, will be through a personal perspective. And technology for me started when I was 11 years old. If you see this picture, the one in the left with the beige shirt, this is me when I was 11 years old. You know, it was back in Brazil. I'm from Brazil. Although this picture was not taken in my hometown of Rio de Janeiro, this is me with my working clothes. And this was the year that I started my first startup. And it was a software development company. So I was, and of course, by the time, it's not that you could find, there was no internet back in the days. I won't even tell you the date of that, but there was no internet available in that moment, in that year. And I would go to different libraries. I couldn't find books on programming. It was really hard to find. And finally, we found them. This is my elder brother. And together we started that startup. But even before learning to program, we went to look for clients. And I remember the first client that said she would work with us. We said, oops, now we have to learn how to program. And we're self-taught on how to program. I ended up having my own programming language. And you know that when you go to sleep and you dream with code and you do things, yeah, that was me. I did a lot of programs, thousands and thousands of lines of programming. So this is when my passion for technology started. And I saw that I could transform my dreams into reality through technology. And I had this intellectual capital that I could exchange to other types of capital. Social capital that would know a lot of people, and also economic. We're from a mid-class in Brazil. So it's not that we're privileged in that way, but we would be nice to have a little bit more to help the family and help ourselves and help the community. So I was really into technology. I joined computer engineering, but I realized that something was missing. I was totally imbalanced. I would make things that would work perfectly, and they were so ugly that I said, you know what? I need to learn other things. I need to explore other worlds. So I started to do a master's in art after doing computer engineering, but still, I felt that it was not a place for me because I don't want to be in a silo anymore because I was in computer engineering and it was computer engineering. And I wanted to look for art in a more broad way. So talking about Broadway, I decided to go to New York. So I was accepted at New York University's interactive telecommunication program. And my goal was to not sleep in New York, was to explore the city and then find art. Art is not just aesthetics. Art is when you slow down and you see the sky, is to look things from a different perspective, is to question yourself, even when you have a very precise answer for a very specific question. Art is so many things. And being in New York, and I was there for 3 years, was that opportunity to challenge myself, challenge my worldview, and then I started to find what I was looking for, that was art. I had friends, and this is a very important picture for me. I have friends from different worlds from mine back in Brazil. I had some friends that they were punks. I was not a punk, but I could hang out with punks. I had all types of different friends. I was exploring different worlds. I was doing many experiments in different areas. And this is a project I was slightly involved with. We had robot fights with flamethrowers, really dangerous. We'd get abandoned warehouses in Brooklyn and get those machines and make them fight. And the leader of the group, I don't know if it's possible to see in that picture, exploded his hand. People really involved with different types of experimentation. And for me, this was art. Art was experimenting. I hacked different systems and famous screens in New York. I could, use the city as a big laboratory. And then came the 9/11 attacks, and I decided to leave the city. Those days were very harsh, and I decided to leave the city, and I moved to Mexico. I moved to Mexico, opened a company, and my company was acquired in our third month of operations. But I wanted to mix those worlds, the world of technology, the world of art, and this company was about generating new things. And for me, it was the time to come with innovations. Although this picture is before going to New York and Mexico, this picture is from an interactive rave I did in 1998. I would have tactiles, sensors in the floor of the nightclub, and I would interpret mathematically how people would step, the pressure they're applying, how they move their hands with accelerometers, and then generate the music and the graphics being projected in the nightclub. I started to do the experimentation with different media. Like this. This is a project that I did in Mexico that I would give laser pointers, and people would paint facades and do whatever they want, to draw SpongeBob or do a tic-tac-toe or write down messages to other people. But I was doing like in big and in bigger facades around the city. I did also urban furniture. So this was more than 15 years ago. So people would go to public parks, they would paddle, but not only to make an exercise, they would generate or transform energy for their cell phones or laptops in public squares. So I did this as a urban guerrilla. I put those things at night in public places, and so nobody would say anything, and I would see how people would go and use them. I did projects for big brands, and this is for Fly Emirates. It's a project about virtual reality. It was best VR, AR application of the world a couple of years back, and I'll give you a glimpse of what it was.
Welcome to the Emirates First Class Lounge. Are you comfortable?
It's impressive, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's
very well done, yeah?
I really liked it.
You had an idea. So it was a couple of years back and working for them. So I do a lot of commission work still, and there are more ideas that I had. I wanted to transform into reality. Oh, sorry. And this was a dream I had. I wanted to paint walls and streets. So it was almost 20 years ago now, and it was interactive painting, and it was this was an urban intervention. So I was going, painting walls, and of course the neighbors, they called the police. They thought I was really painting the wall, but it's based on projection. So but it was, all comes from dreams and ideas. And you start to see a pattern here, right? How technology and art are together. I'm gonna tell you about one more project, and this was kind of a recent here in Spain. This is Espacio Fundación Telefónica. It's an amazing art space that usually has technology involved with amazing artists, from Toshio Iwai to Rafael Lozano Hammer to amazing artists. And they call me and they say, we want you to have one of your installations as an artist. It's like, well, I come here very often because I love what's in here, and you're giving me a space here to show my artwork. That's amazing. So I didn't know what to do, but it was holiday season. It was an interactive installation. It was anything I wanted to do, and I wanted to do an interactive installation. So they gave me the space, and it was holiday season. And so it was a time that I was traveling a lot, and I had the theme of clouds in my mind. And then I went to see the space. I was looking around. I always go to the space when I design something for a museum or a gallery, and to feel the energy of the space and see how people behave. And then I started to, connecting the dots. The dots were, technology, holiday season, the clouds. Come on, cloud could be technology, right? So, but I wanted to be a very human experience. So also in the time, holiday season, people wish things, right? They wish, they look usually at the skies, and they wish for good things. Hey, I want to get a better job next year. I want to find someone that really is going to love me. I want to, get money. I want to buy a new car. People wish, and they don't wish looking down. They wish looking up. And for me, wow, it started to make sense. And so I made this interactive installation that's the cloud of wishes. And cloud was that thing that would receive all those wishes and would capture those wishes and send you back whatever you're wishing for. So I designed and implemented that installation. Is really minimal. I have just a cloud and that green mat underneath. And how it works is that you get your cell phone and you get your preferred social media, social network, and you take your selfie and you make a wish, and then you send. You send where? To the cloud, right? We know a little bit about technology. You send to the cloud, and that cloud that was there captures that wish and then print the wish for you, because it brings to reality. So also study on a lot of rituals, and I know how rituals from different religions, they work, and how you offer, how you get something. So this installation was, and also the cloud could represent God, right? Because it's tangible, but it's not tangible. You see it, you believe it, and you see things happening when you offer something. So this was a very successful installation. We got in 20 days 600,000 hits in social media because of the cloud, but all started, because of a dream and the capacity to mix two worlds, because there's some technology behind us, but technology doesn't matter that much, but there's also art in there, and we could connect to a lot of people. So again, you see the patterns, right? There's a will, there are ways of doing this. I do a lot of collaboration. I like to work with the people that think different from me. And we might say even that this is very creative. Some people would say that's creative. But I have now I have a question for you. Thank you for your comments. Thank you, Isabel. Do you consider yourself creative? Write it down. Write it down. We're not judging. We're just asking. Do you consider yourself creative? Write it down, please. Write it down in the chat box if you have. Right on. Sometimes we have yeses, we have sometimes, and we have yeses. So for So yes, until now, everyone is considered sometimes or yes. Most of them are yeses. Let me talk about creativity. So the thing is, you're not all the time, somebody's saying. Talking about creativity, and it's also connected to art and technology. I'm going to tell you why. But let's go back a little bit. And there's a wonderful TED Talk about this that says that children have a high level of creativity, right? Before entering school. And it's so important. You see small kids and they play, they have, different worlds, things going on in their minds. They're playing with the ant and they try and eat the ant. I mean, because there's no limits. Everything is experimentation, right? But when they're 7 years old, only 10% maintain this high ranking, right? And adults, only 2% of adults are considered creative. So what happens? What happens that at school, we learn to be non-creative. Because, come on, we learn differently. We're a group of people from different backgrounds, from different ideas, from different upbringing, but still, if we were the same, in the same culture, and the same city, the same town, we're different people. And everyone is put in the same box. And hey, can I go to the bathroom? No, you can't go to the bathroom. What are you talking about? This weird way of teaching us. But if we go back in time and analyze the formalization and organization of work, we see that workers needed specialization in a field or a task, right? I don't know if you remember that movie. If you haven't seen the movie, please do so. And then we start to do research and understand how the modern educational system works. It was established in that the need, it was like around 200 years ago. And I don't know if you remember, about this, but only people from the elite could have a formal education, right? It was really expensive. It was not something that everyone had. But industrialization changed that. Changed the way we work and generated the necessity of having a universal scholarity, right? So the modern education system was established. And it's still now. We specialize in one thing. I was telling you, I was a computer engineer. I was not also a psychologist, also a ballet dancer. I was a computer engineer. So the school is very good in making us specialize in one thing. We work and we learn through repetitive exercises. I'm not against repetition, so we can remember things, but a lot of repetitive exercise. We have to be memorizing data, right? We have to obey orders, as I was telling you. And competition. Oh, what was your grade? It's about grading. Who is going to go through to the next year? This is the education. This is the modern education system. And then, this modern education system prepares professionals for the industrial environment back in the days. Something linear, analytical, sequential. I'm from a generation that had to study science, technology, engineering, and mathematics to be successful, or called STEM. But STEM is so wrong, and everyone knows it's STEM. It's STEM. Come on, where is the letter A? Where is STEAM? Where is art? Art is not in that equation. And human beings, we're not just one side of the brain. We cannot be STEM people. We're STEAM people. We're much more complete than that thing they're trying to sell us. And this is the current educational system that has been the same for centuries. But I have something for you. Let's see how the computers work, right? Computers, they love specialized work, right? Specialized work. I was designed to do that one thing. Repetitive work, boom, boom, boom. I can run that loop infinitely. Just press enter. Love data. Bring me data. Now I can process all data in the world. Now we have this big data thing, and computers love this, and they can really get some sense out of this better than us. They blindly obey. They would never say, I don't want to run this loop again. I'm too tired. I'm not doing this. The computers, they just blindly obey. And they don't charge. They don't sleep. Well, but look at this. When you see the educational system and see how computers work, in the center of the robots, we're teaching our children to be robots. What's going on? Do we need to do this? This is how people are getting prepared to be inserted in the workforce, being that pseudo robots, and we're being prepared for jobs that will disappear, right? We study hard to be low quality artificial intelligence. Low quality. We cannot be good quality artificial intelligence. We cannot be, because we're not computers and we don't have to be computers. But there is more. Let's talk about humans. We talked about the educational system, how we go to the box, and they try to make us this really bad artificial intelligence, to try to make us as computers. But humans, we're so different from that. I mean, I'm not against, technology, but let's see the human side. We need emotions. That's more than proof that when dopamine appears, we learn stuff. Dopamine helps us learn and relate to other humans. That's why when we have fun, something's interesting, we learn more, and it is not easily forgotten. We are very good handling the unpredictable, and computers, they are not good doing this because they're into repetition. If something goes wrong, oops, I crashed because I don't know how to handle this. Come on, so easy, just do something like this. Yeah, but I'm a computer. You told me to do this. I was not expecting this. And we human beings, we're very good in dealing with the unexpected. We're good connecting different things. Think about it. People who we consider geniuses, they're not the best at one thing. They mix things together. Edison, electricity, photograph, and sound, kinetoscope. Darwin, economics, geography, biology, theory of evolution. Anyone? Ferran Adrià, a great cook here from Spain. Cuisine, chemistry, art. It's one of the best cooks in the world. And you can keep on bringing names, the Vinci's, but they're not that special. Or they are that special, but so do we. So because we are designed to do this. More critical sense. It's not bad to follow social contracts. We have to have an agreement as human beings. From time to time, doing what we shouldn't be doing is good and bring us incredible advances. Remember when someone said that the sun revolved around the earth? And if you'd say something against that, they would throw you in the fire? Come on. It was the church. And someone said, no, this is wrong. It's the other way around. But no, we are the center of the universe. But we have to go sometimes against what people say. And we are better collaborating than competing. And I know this for sure for projects that I'm doing. And I know also because of research and the studies, and because we're better as communities than individuals. So we spent 200 years educating ourselves the opposite of how humans work, right? We cannot compete with computers in things that they're good at. We cannot. We shouldn't be competing. Okay, let's play Jeopardy against someone that, let's play chess against it. Come on. Why are we doing this? But a computer cannot compete against humans in human capabilities. They cannot and won't be anytime soon. So we're educated to be, computers, not to be artists or even more humans. And when we see a picture like this, I don't know if you know who is this person and why is wearing that helmet with that name on that. But when you see a picture like this, what does it come to mind, right? Crazy, irresponsible, selfish, starving, and this is, unfortunately, is how artists are seen. There's a lot of prejudice. Look at this guy. He's not someone that can fit the society, And so it's not surprising that people think that art is not serious. That's wasting time. It's a hobby, right? And we understand why serious business are not associated with art. Not serious. Come on. This is Jean-Michel Basquiat. And this kid, this in 1982, this picture from Basquiat sold for more than $110 million. Put Basquiat in the level of Francis Bacon, of Picasso, right? So, man, he could make some business out of his art. So let's do a quick reset. And I talked about technology, art, innovation, and combination. Talked about the educational system. But technology has been here all the time, right? And we see how it's evolving and serious people developing serious solutions. The world, more genius than others, some are more crazy than others. But also art. Art through time. Art has been around all the time. And we see throughout history how art is manifesting, sometimes in more tangible, but not only this, art is also in things that are not man-made, or Zaha Hadid and Eugênios, this is in Lisbon, I took this picture in Portugal, or Adriana Varejão is an artist that I love, or Chuck Close, this is a huge painting, very realistic, and you go close and you see how it's painted. But Rauschenberg having a painting like this, some people say, no, my 5-year-old can paint that, is different. Or La Campanella from Liszt, considered one of the most complex music already written. But if you paid attention, art cannot live without technology. Technology cannot live without art. Because when we combine this art and technology, we have this magic. And we talked about some people that were considered geniuses. Da Vinci used to call this arte-scienza. Is that mixture? And Da Vinci was a guy that had everything to not be successful. He was a bastard. He was gay. He was sometimes vegetarian. He had everything. This guy is not going through in life. And he was Da Vinci. Someone like us with the same curiosity. So let me do something. Let's take a look at this. Okay. So write down, what do you think those elements have in common? What they seem to be really random objects. Write it down. Write it down. What do they have in common? What do you think they have in common? Look at them, think, and write it down. What do they have in common? Come on, don't be shy. Don't be shy. What do you think? What do you think? Don't be shy. True, they're inventions. True, they're inventions. Not what I'm looking for, but they're inventions. What else? Of course, they're inventions. Good. It was a very good start. What else do they have in common? Lines. Yeah, but it's not what I'm looking for. What else? People are needed to use them, that they have needs through, but it's not what I'm looking for. There's something that, and then I'm going to start my narrative on that slide. So I'm going to help you out. Hey, and there's someone from Spain here. They're all, okay, true, all colorful, but they're all Spanish inventions. Okay, I live in Spain. I did my research. Although I'm not from here, but I was very curious. And there are a lot of amazing inventions here in Spain. Okay, so they're all Spanish inventions. Okay, but I want to talk about something very particular. Okay, Chupa Chups. So lollipop. Okay. Lollipop was an amazing invention, and it was solving a problem. And someone said, "Hey, people needed to use them." So the problem was people are getting really hard candies. Back in the days, they were really hard, and kids would get the candy, and if by mistake they would swallow them, they would die. I mean, if you didn't know the Heimlich movement, they would die because it would be stuck, and that piece of rock glass, that hard candy, right? So, this is 1958, right? So hard candies, and you know what? We need a solution for that because everyone loves candies. So they had 3 brilliant ideas, right? First, they put a toothpick, so you could suck the candy little by little. So, I mean, you're holding this. So, okay, that toothpick was plastic and it was hollow in the middle because if someone would swallow that thing, they would, they would keep breathing. So it was genius. And the third one, okay, so I'm gonna open now for questions again. Who designed the logo?
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。失礼します。
So can you still hear me? Because I feel there's a lag in the system. Is it good, or should I change network? Good. Okay. So this was so cool because you have like this fancy, more formal clothes, and then you have your pajamas. Or Ford developed this software able to heat the police cars in the US to get to 56 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. So at the end of the day, they would kill 99% of viral concentration in the interior surface of materials. Thai airline, that people were not traveling as much as they're still not traveling that much. So instead of getting a reward for traveling, Thai Airlines was giving you. Sorry, I lost my camera a second, but I'm still here. So I'm gonna continue without the camera, and I'll quickly fix this. But you still hear me, right? Yes.
Yes, we hear you.
Yes. Okay. Good. So they were giving away miles for staying at home. So they would geolocate you, and if you're staying at home, you get miles. Everyone is in the same problem. I'm gonna show you this video. This video is amazing. Look at this.
Kids love to use their hands. Kids explore the world with their hands. In India, they use their hands for one more thing: eating food. Not washing their hands with soap is one of the main causes for illnesses and dropouts.
वो पानी में हाथ डालता है और अपने कपड़े से ही पूछता है. छोटे बच्चे हैं, उसे जल्दी भूख लगती है.
साबुन वापरतात का?
नहीं.
कोई आदत नहीं होती, घर में भी माँ बाप को नहीं सिखाते, इसलिए सब बच्चे ये नहीं सीख सकते.
So we gave shape to a simple idea. We infused chalk sticks with soap. Introducing Savlon Healthy Hands Chalk Sticks. These work just like regular chalk sticks. But at lunch break, they did more than just writing. The chalk powder turned into soap on its own. Through such initiatives, Savlon Swasth India is reaching out to schools across the country. Kids' health will now be in good hands, their own.
So how wonderful is this? How genius is this? You know, it's just to see the world in a different way. And after seeing this, I say, of course. But it's not of course. This is, hard to come up with. We need that different way of saying, So we see what's going on now. And in time of pandemics, they say that roughly 6.8 billion disposable face masks are being used around the globe each day. Every day, billions. And did you know that they do not degrade? So this thing, of course, we need those things, right? We use it every time. I have mine here. We carry this around, but it's also generating a big problem. So we're solving a problem of not getting infected or trying to be less susceptible to be infected, but we're generating also a massive invasion of those things in the sea, in land, everywhere. Right? But we cannot be blind to those things. And there are a lot of people acting in this field. Right? They're getting the masks in transform, for instance, in tiles. Right? So those tiles are like 30 cents of an euro. And you can make tiles with those masks. Or this is from our MIT University in Australia. They're making concrete mixed with the plastic, the material of the masks, and you can even remake masks. So when I give those examples, it's to show that it is possible, and it's not that hard to allow us to be more humans and see things differently. And when we compare the world of business with entrepreneurs, and most of us, we're entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are the artists of the business world. And why is that? Because the business environment is uncertain and ambiguous, right? And artists deal with both in their teams and their creative process. It's uncertainty and ambiguity all the time. In business, vision and communication skills are needed, right? When artists create, they want to communicate something and make us believe in their creation. It's fundamental to have this. And the same is true of artists, tireless and hard work. We have to work hard until we fulfill our dreams. But is this real or just you, Alberto, telling us because it might sound interesting? Come on, you see people like, this is a YouTube founders, Chad Hurley and Susan Wojcicki. He was a BA in fine art. She was in history and literature. Airbnb founder, Chesky, BFA industrial design in Rhode Island, right? CEO, Flickr and Slack. He's a philosophy. Zuckerberg, a psychology major at Harvard. Sherry Sandberg, Bachelor of Arts in Economics, and on and on. Phoebe and Novakovic, German and government affairs. The Whole Foods was philosophy and religion. Marisa Mayer, the first engineer from Google, right? She lived in her house. Her parents were artists, so she was an engineer, but she had that other side to say something. She was exposed to art. So starting to get into some conclusions. Let me try to get my camera back up again. Let me see. My camera is not liking me today. Okay, I'm gonna try to get the other camera working. Give me a sec. You don't. So let me continue with this without my moving face. So some thoughts. Technology is dedicated to making our lives safer, more connected, healthier, more comfortable, more efficient. Is an enabler to transform dreams into reality. So technology is much necessary. Art is dedicated to question and rethink existing systems and paradigms. It allows joy and beauty when facing serious issues and proposing new futures. When we see something from, or not even a brand, or something that is different, it's not that you are doing this with less respect for a problem. You're just looking for other possibilities. But innovation will come from people being capable of linking beauty to engineering, humanity to technology, and poetry to processors. So I want to finish this talk by inviting you to be artists, to be technologists, but most of all, to be more and better humans, because we are by design innovative. Thank you very much, and I would love to have questions and comments when I try to get my camera on. Let me try the camera number 2. My camera number 2 working? No,
Thanks, Alberto.
Well, welcome, and I'm sorry that I have the camera 2 working here. Let me try to move this.
It's working.
Right on.
Thank you so much for the lovely talk. So to everyone who's still with us, we have the full bunch. We have a couple of minutes for a Q&A. We already have a question from a colleague, which is very in line with something I was thinking about while I was listening to you, Alberto. So Sumitra, on the one hand, is asking, how can we push our own boundaries to be more creative? That's one question. And then the other question is, how do we bring this spark of innovation to, for example, to our work at UNDP, where we deal with various issues from climate change to eradicating poverty, and how do we, what kind of processes can we involve, for example, so that we think more about how we can have art and involve art in our work, or technology for that matter, and then combining them, what kind of mechanisms that can we think about to inject that in our own work? So 2 different questions.
Perfect. So let me try to tackle them in a organized fashion. So we have this inside, but sometimes we're just used to see the same people, work in the same environment, listen to the same music, and we don't do this on purpose. It's just because it's our nature to get into that thing, and we just navigate in that position that we're not seeing a lot of things. Do you know when someone that you don't know, or but someone that shows you a song that you never heard before, could be from another culture, something new, and after listening to that song, it's you're much more prone to listen and discover new songs than before, because it ignites something with you that, wow, there's a whole world outside of my world of songs. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you. So we have to be open for things. They're not the things that we usually do, they usually like. We have to see out of this world that we design for us. That's very safe word. I'm not saying that it's not comfortable to be there, but we have to be paying attention to those other things. And how do we do this? It's also, I already said, being out of our comfort zone, but also collaborate with people from different industries. You know, when we see startups and then we start to tie to the world of startups and what do we do, I've seen a lot of companies being, you know, with 3 mechanical engineers. Good, but maybe there's something missing. I'm not against mechanical engineers, but it's just that, well, we need diversity. We need to see things under other perspectives. And it's very easy to not see them. So we need this to expose ourselves to new truths, to new possibilities. It's not that we have to agree with everything that we see around the world because we have critical sense. Remember, one of the things that we human beings are very good at, or we should develop. So it's important to amplify our horizons. Talk to people that are different from us. See their points of view. In a lot of cultures, you know, we even block people just because they think differently, because they admire someone that we do not admire. Let's try to understand what's behind. Again, we don't have to agree with them, but this is the richness of life. So when we work with, you know, UNDP and Boost and projects, we have to allow the opportunity to see every problem with different perspectives. You know, also, you know, the part of empathy of design thinking, understand more people and different aspects of life. So richness, diversity, collaboration, multidisciplinarity, looking beyond our established horizons, those are very good. Hey, short tips. Do things differently every week. You know, go to a new museum. Do something that you usually don't do for any reason. Just try to do small, different things. If you just have coffee, try to have tea. If you just have tea, try to have coffee once. You know, try different types of food. Try to get out of your routine. And this will help a lot to start seeing things differently. For some people, a chair is just a chair, a place to sit. For some, you know, is a totally different thing. It could be a solution or something else.
Thanks so much. I have a question with regard to something you said in the beginning, and I've noticed that that's often been the case when people talk about art, and they tend to view it really as something not serious enough and not serious enough that can be used in, for example, talking about issues that are very serious, like I mentioned, around climate change or eradicating poverty, for example. But there is an immense value in art and in using it, even in campaigns or in concrete solutions, like you mentioned, when combining with technology. What would you say to the skeptics out there, the art skeptics?
Yeah, so first, that art is much more than aesthetics, right? So art, I remember a friend of mine, he was a musician, and people would ask, hey, what do you do? I'm a musician. And what do you work with? And what is your, come on, I'm a musician. Now, this is your hobby, right? I mean, you cannot be a musician. You just play instruments. No, I'm a musician. No. And it's this, we're inheriting this from that whole story that I told about, you know, the Industrial Revolution, that we needed to respond to those things, and how things are differently. It's not that we need to respond, but if you want to respond, there are some examples. Come on, the founders of Google, the Airbnb, you know, they had a scientific background, and they were bringing different perspectives. And this was not happening. If you see the old Fortune 500 companies, it was like MBAs. Not against MBAs, I teach MBAs, but now even the MBAs are different. You know, they have this entrepreneurial mindset, and the entrepreneurial mindset is the new artist way of doing business. So the response is just to show how, you know, a car that is designed with that mindset that would combine both is way better than the other one. And back in the days, if things worked, was enough. But now it's not enough. They need to be right, to make sense, to really to connect with us. And if we don't do this with just mathematics, and I see the beauty in beauty in mathematics, but it has to be that component, and just to connect, and because we have both sides of the brain, it's not that, oh, just one, oh, your type of intelligence is just, no, because I never developed the other one. You never allow me. Who studied, in middle school, emotional intelligence? Almost nobody, just some special schools. And this is being human, negotiation, creativity, critical thinking, all of those very humane things. So this is art. This is the other side of the brain that's not scientific, direct. There are just few things that are, absolute answers for questions. So I don't think it's about to respond, but understand your question is that, look at the examples around us. There's a whole new generation of products, services, experiences. They are the result of seeing things in different ways, not in the old square, ways. And we're seeing this big revolution. And the revolution is also being done by startups. And again, startups are the artists of the business world. We don't start with a P&L. And companies, small business, the numbers, they don't make sense. They decide not to do things. And we, the dreamers, the lovers, the entrepreneurs, the artists, the technologists, we are going to make them through. We're going to change this world. I don't care if the numbers don't match now, but I'll get there. I will not rest until I have changed the world. That's the big difference.
Thank you so much. Well, just waiting for a couple of last questions. So Nyreen asks, any specific suggestions to read or watch for people who are interested in the topic and want to start practicing, for example, combining the two, art and technology?
Yeah, so there was a question back. Okay, so one previous to that is about like the team formation, and more than necessarily pure artists, multidisciplinarity is a way of challenging projects. So in team formation, it's very important to have like different perspectives of the project. So not having just MBAs or not having just having this diversity. And diversity I see in very broad aspect, not just multidisciplinarity, gender, backgrounds and everything. So suggestions to read and watch for people interested in the topic and would start practicing this routine breaking. That's a good one, because I read all types of things. So I have always 8-10 books and I read it at the same time. They're open and I'm reading them, like one and the other consecutively, but they are open and it's very diverse. And for me, it's important to read exponential organizations at the same time they're reading a novel from Brazil or needing. So this is for me is super important. I like some. I'm liking more recently to use some methodologies to help me out in my design process. Although I have my own hack of design thinking, they allow me to have moments to think about specific things. So I'm always all over the place, and when you have methodology that allows you, okay, now you can go crazy, but within empathy and the segment who's going to benefit from the problem, different aspects of that. Okay, now let's define the problem before jumping to ideation, and then ideation, and then, but those moments of focus without forgetting about the holistic view to the problem, they are helping me a lot. Very specific moments when I have a lot of freedom of creation, but I have those moments to think about specifics, and this helps me out. But from the top of my mind, like a reading that you should have, I don't remember, but I can later, if I recall them, I can send you, some links to stuff. But I'm always open to different things and discovering new things. Sometimes I'm on TikTok, sometimes, with Clubhouse, getting things that I don't even know about, getting out of my comfort zone. So, and now I'm grounded by, I love to travel, to be challenged in many things.
Yeah, I think you said something quite, getting out of your comfort zone. I think that's really important.
It is.
changing the
It's not.
routine.
Yeah, it's not easy sometimes.
No, not at
And
all.
yeah, yeah. And as we grow older, we don't like to experiment them. No, I'm comfortable here. Don't tell me. But it's so good. That's why I always go back to that thing, right? The kids before getting to school, it's just adventures, just exploration. Everything is new. You know, well, what is this? How does it taste? You know, like come on, you're tasting, like you're eating that thing. Yeah, how can I? You know, I have to explore, and then don't, and so the don'ts become the norm. And then we didn't go outside, not even a bit, right? Why? You know, swallowable perfumes. That someone is I'm gonna buy that swallowable perfume. I mean, it's not a thing. It's not my thing, but I thought it was genius. And there are like some very disruptive things. And as you just wrote about swallowable perfume, I ask about this. The why nots? Why not? Right? It's not that we have to be disruptive in everything, but we're not asking the why nots enough. Why not? Why not? This opens a new world of possibilities. Yeah, why not? Why this perfume has to be this or that or anything, right? So let's start like challenging these paradigms that they come to us.
Just looking whether there's any new questions.
I hope you do a TED Talk on this topic. Yeah, I have 2 TEDx's out, and I think in June I'm gonna have a 3rd one coming, and it will be about starting over. Our careers, our life, sometimes by choice, sometimes we don't have a choice, but every time is an opportunity. So this should be, and if you have any TED looking for speakers, I'm always looking to tell stories in different perspectives, and as we all should do, right? We have to be preachers. We have to tell the things that we believe, although no one has to agree with us, but this is our opportunity to tell our side of the story.
Thank you so much, Alberto. We're looking forward to the TED Talk and hearing what you have to say. It's comes at a very opportune time around everything around the pandemic and starting over. I think it's quite relevant. Well, thank you so much for, as a couple of people who have already said, the inspiring talk and sharing your insights and, you know, around art and technology, and especially your background combining the two. It's quite inspiring. And we hope to see you again soon in the UNDP community. And thank you for supporting Boost. And thank you to everyone who's joined us.
No, thank you. And there's if you use your cell phone, you can connect with me through LinkedIn. It's a pleasure. And tough times. And there are more tough times ahead. It's part of it. And there are 2 ways of facing it, you know, down or up. Let's go up. We have a big responsibility because we have power. We're not just that 1%, we're less than that. We are the change makers. So we cannot stop. It's restless. But let's move forward. We can change this. Absolutely. I'm 100% sure. So thank you very much. I hope to see you all soon.
Thank you for your time. Bye, everyone.